Washington, Columbus, 55-56. Columbus, minus 115. Home favorite, total 5.5. Shaded a little bit towards the under. And look, this Capitals team all of a sudden, uh, you know, an over machine really lately. I mean, it's been a one over after another lately for the Washington Capitals. Been a combination of things. Their power play's been very, very good now for many games in a row. Alex Ovechkin's contributed. They're scoring goals. They're getting chances. But on the flip side, Washington's not been shutting the door defensively, and Washington has not been great on the penalty kill, and they haven't gotten great play from Braden Holtby during this stretch, or Philip Grubauer, who got the start against Vegas in that early game on Sunday, Super Bowl Sunday. They lose 4-3. So the combination of things have made Washington quite a bit of an over team right now. So will that continue tonight? That remains to be seen. We know the Columbus Blue Jackets have not, exactly been stalwarts defensively as of late. They played the New York Islanders earlier this week. That was a little bit of a higher scoring affair. That's probably not the kind of game John Tortorella is looking for, but not going to be easy for this Columbus team right now because Washington is sort of in that wounded animal type of role going into this game. Both of these teams are really. In fact, both of these teams are really looking for a win at this point. Washington having lost 2 in a row at Pittsburgh and against Vegas at home, and then you've got Columbus who are on a 3-game losing streak and just 2-6. This Columbus team in their last 8 games. So it's not been very good for Columbus during this stretch of time. Washington's healthy, too. The excuses are done for them in terms of why they've lost, two in a row. They're only 2-5 in their last 7 games, Washington. So it's get right time for one of these teams tonight. The question is, who's it going to be? When you look back, they've only played once this season. It was a 4-3 Washington win. And when you look at this Washington team, last 4 games, 34-30, 39-31 shots allowed. That's a big reason why. Again, the chances against, the shots against have gone up during this stretch. The goaltending's been shaky. The PK's been shaky. They've given up 4 power play goals, Washington, in the last 2 games combined. That's not very good. Is Columbus a team capable of taking advantage of that? Well, they've scored a power play goal 3 of their last 4 games. So I was on the over Washington, Vegas Sunday. Also the over Washington, Pittsburgh the night before that. And the over in the Washington Philly game, the Wednesday night, coming out of the break, because with extended rest, Washington had like an 8-1 to the over record. So, I've got 3 overs back cashed with Washington in a row. Even if I lose tonight, I'm going to go ahead and take it one more time. Washington Columbus for me, over the 5.5 at plus 110 again, or plus 100 rather, even money price, good price on that 5.5 again, digestible number, solid price at even money. I'll go ahead with Washington Columbus over the total. Dana Lane, that's one of his games as well on this Tuesday card. Jackets and Capitals. Dana Lane, what are you looking at in this game tonight?
Yeah, I agree with you, Ian. I mean, it's the problem is not going to be Columbus for sure. I mean, you said it. I mean, the Washington Capitals give up a ton of shots per game, and now we have a Columbus Blue Jacket team that comes in, and they're clearly one of the, if not top 5, certainly top 7 teams. As far as ability to put pressure on opposing goaltenders. So, from a Columbus standpoint, you would think that they would get plenty of opportunities. From a Capital standpoint, we really don't know which Capital team we're going to get. Are we going to get the one that is a 30 to 35 shot team, or are we going to get the one that showed up against Vegas? And it is. I mean, I wish we could do a half an hour in Vegas. It is unbelievable what they continue to do, walking into Washington and handed them a loss on an extended road trip. But getting back to the Capitals, I mean, this, believe it or not, if I said to you, Ian, you probably know, but if I said to most people, who's last in the National Hockey League in shots per game, nobody would ever come up with the Washington Capitals, but yet here we are. The Caps are just under 29 shots a game, and when you're betting totals, I really like to dive into, to make sure that we talk about special teams. We're also going to talk about whether or not you're going to get plenty of opportunities as far as pucks getting to the net. I do like the fact that I think Washington's getting a little bit more production from the blue line. I think they're kind of rounding into form. I think by the time the playoffs come, that they will be in a position to make some noise. We see Dejeus and Carlson play well in their last 5 games. In fact, I just see a plus $1.05 up here, which is nice. Niskanen and Orlov, I thought were extremely aggressive against the Pittsburgh Penguins the other night. Of which aggression, like we talked about in the last video, sometimes leads to or often leads to transitions, which means that you're giving up shots on goal against as well. So that's the game that you have to play when you bring your defensemen up into the play. The 72 total shots versus Pittsburgh were nice. 33 by the Capitals were nice. I'm banking on that's the Capital team I'm going to see tonight, and not the one against Pitt, or not the one that we saw that had 23 shots on that against the Vegas Golden Knights. Although even in that game, 8 of those shots came from their defensemen as well. And I mean, you guys know, you've been watching the Caps long enough to know that their offense starts with their blue line, and if they can get pucks to the net, and they're just looking for rebounds and those greasy goals in front, or get it over to Ovechkin, who can, get a laser off from the top of the circle. That's kind of Washington's game. It's been that way for a long time, but it's an interesting game tonight because you got one team that, the Capitals, that are high in scoring as far as goals per game and low in shots on goal, and you have a Columbus team that gets a low number of shots on net as well, and they're high in scoring. So something's got to give, I guess, tonight. But I do like the over in this, and I do see that we can get $1.05 right now.
All right, so Dana and I in agreement, over 5.5, Columbus and Washington. Hey, he's a fourth line player, and they're screaming out for secondary offense. It can't always be Ovechkin, Kuznetsov, Burakovsky, Backstrom, and Oshie every night for this Washington team. And even Oshie had a horrible drought going. He finally snapped that in a recent game. So even some of the big guns have been shooting blanks as of lately, but they're finally getting up. A couple guys have stepped up lately. Lars Eller has scored a goal lately. Brett Connolly has hit the score sheet. A couple third liners. Jacob Vrana has cooled off, but he scored a little bit, went through a nice little offensive surge earlier on. But the guy that's really stepped up last few games, fourth liner, Chandler Stevenson, 3 goals in his last 3 games for this Washington. They can get some of these third and fourth liners finally starting to hit the score sheet for the Washington Capitals. It's going to transform this team quite a bit. What a season, by the way. We talk about, Dana mentioned it, their defense being involved in their offense. No more than John Carlson. Fantastic season he's had for the Washington Capitals back there on that blue line. Very impressed with the improvement in his game in terms of making an impact at the offensive end of the ice, because he's always been pretty steady in his own zone, but he's gone that extra mile to really become more of an offensive force as a defenseman, and we're seeing that in spades this year from John Carlson. So very positive from him. He's improved his shot, by the way. I mean, his shot from the point didn't really put much fear in opposing goaltenders and opposing teams defensively. Now it does. He's worked on that. It's more of a rocket, more of a launcher, a grenade coming at you when he shoots the puck now at the blue line. So he's worked on that. Again, when you're a professional athlete and you take pride in what you're doing, you want to improve facets of your game. And I have seen John Carlson improve that specific element of his game, and it's certainly been a benefit to the Washington Capitals. So, over 5.5 in this game for both Dana and me.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to our channel. Now, we've put a lot of work into producing all these free videos, so please help us out and keep all our content free for you forever by simply liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. Now, not to mention, a visit to our industry-leading website will warm the hearts of all our SBR employees, especially myself. Now, the links are over there to the left, so do check those out. Thanks for watching.